Previously on the Seventh Valkyrie, Wayver awakens after his near-deadly clash with a bad-tripping BC. With family forces and the Edarans still locked in battle, BC's biggest challenge of the evening may yet be a simple conversation with an old friend. Next on the Seventh Valkyrie.
Well, Wayver's awake, and he's asking for you. I told him you were busy, but he insisted.
Out in the courtyard, several of the lights dimmed, then returned to normal. Rama squinted, then rubbed her eyes and shook her head.
Do you want to see him? He's okay, he'll survive, though whatever did that to him, well, it was like nothing I've ever seen before. I don't know either. I found him like that. He must have been caught up in some collision of gifts. Well, he wants to see you, if you'll see him.
BC nodded.
Yeah, might as well get this over with.
BC let herself be led inside, up to the middle floors where new cots were being carried out and set up by the minute. She didn't spot Wayver on any of them, and instead Rama led her back towards the bar. There, Wayver was propped up, leaning back against the bar, resting with the remnants of his right shoulder bandaged. He looked so much smaller, sitting in front of the bar rather than standing tall behind it. As they arrived, Wayver's eyes opened and met hers. His sudden flinch away from her in fear hurt, but not as much as his immediate apology that he hadn't meant it as he looked up at her with those sweet, blue-tinted eyes. Rama said that she'd leave them, and for a moment, BC simply watched Wayver's eyes as he spoke. His voice was flitting in and out of silence because of her power, but she gathered that he was thanking her for bringing him to get fixed up, and then he asked if she was okay. When seconds passed and she hadn't answered him, he admonished himself that of course she was okay. She was BC, not a joker like him. The lanterns around them were flickering in and out by then, and all BC could manage to do was meet his eyes and nod in response. But then he laughed, looking down at where his right arm used to have been. I guess you'll finally have a chance of beating me in Bonboard. You know, I always said that I could beat you with one. But he never finished the sentence because by then BC had fallen to her knees and thrown herself around him, tears flowing and sobbing out apologies with all that she had, holding him as he held her tight with his left arm. Before, his hugs had been like being wrapped in a warm, safe blanket, and now every squeeze brought memories and disappointment and cruel reminders of what she had done. Sorries flowed out of her like an endless river, like somehow with enough of them, she could eventually capture the depths of her shame. And just as strong the whole time he stood firm, holding her tight into his chest and telling her that it was okay, that he was alive and they were here together. In time, she fell quiet and he did too, and for a moment they sat there, their only movement the rise and fall of her head on his chest. I never knew you had a gift. The lights flickered, and he hummed. Though I've never seen any gift like yours. BC tried to burrow into his chest even further. Is that why you never wanted to talk about it? B? It's not a gift. What you have is a gift. You can do cool tricks, you can do your job, help people, make kids feel all inspired and magical. This is not a gift. The lights flickered around them again. Hey, don't say that. Gifts come in all different shapes and sizes. Just because yours is a little... How can you even think about saying that, Wave? She rolled off of him and sat up. Did you see what I fucking did to you? BC, you're not the first person whose gift can be used as a weapon. Looking down at his shoulder, he shook his head. God, I should have been more careful.
I knew you were having a bad trip and I cornered you in a dark fucking alley while a bunch of Edarans were attacking the city. Stupid. Are you listening to yourself, Wave? Fuck, are you seriously listening to yourself? Yeah, B, I am. Look, I know you're dangerous. Whether it's barehanded, with a knife, or whatever this fucking gift it is you have. I was scared for you, girl. I just wanted to make sure. I thought maybe hearing my voice would... I was stupid. How can you say that? How can you fucking say that? How can you be sitting here apologizing? You've got no fucking arm, Wayver. Fuck. I cut your fucking arm off and you're fucking Fuck. B, calm down. I'm alive. I'm here. You got me here and I'm alive thanks to you. You were only hurt because of me. Wave, look, I'm looking. Your arm. B, it was an accident that happened in the middle of a war zone while we were on drugs. I know that you would never do that to me on purpose.
The lights flickered. But Wayver didn't notice that one. Instead, he continued.
Look, B, it'll take some time to relearn to be a bartender. But I've been meaning to learn tricks with my left hand, and it'll be a fun gimmick, you know? Think about it. How many more tips do you think I'll get with...
BC's quiet vocalization stopped him.
B? What is it? Wayver, how do you know? What? How do you know that I would never do that to you on purpose? You don't know anything about me. Up until an hour ago, you had no idea that I was anything more than a mixed-blood Veteran girl. Oh, come on, BC. I've known you for 3 years. You've known me for these 3 years. Don't give me that bullshit, B. Come on. I know you better than that. You think you're some great mystery, but I know that you're a sweet person who cares so much about her family here in the pit. I've seen how hard you fight to defend them. I've seen how much hell you'll raise against anyone who tries to fuck with them. I know that you're nice and kind, that you're always a total asshole, that you're the most horny motherfucker who'll never fuck anybody. What, are you telling me all of that was just made up?
He'd said that last part sarcastically, but it hit BC like it had been the truth. When BC looked away, his voice changed.
B?
She looked back to him and her eyes were dark.
I don't know what piece of you inspired you to have such faith in me. But whatever that piece is, it's a good thing, Wave. It's a very good thing. And I really hope that you find a place in the world where you can aim that good thing at somebody who deserves it. BC, I know you're trying to hate yourself enough for both of us, but can we just skip past this part? You say that I would never do something like that to you on purpose. Well, I wish I had the same confidence. But there are hundreds of people who would disagree if they were still alive. B. What? That does... Those people are dead now, Wayver. You know, it was always really convenient, people thinking that I was sweet and pretty and loyal. BC, I don't think you are thinking clearly. I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm sure if you can just get some water, get some food, sober up, we can sit down and calm down and you know what, Wayver? Maybe you are right. Maybe I'm still a little high, and I'm freaked out from battle. Maybe I'm a good person who just wants to live out the rest of her life here, or I don't know, fucking do drugs until I die. B, things are going to be a lot clearer in the morning if you can just go to bed. Or maybe, Wayver, I was just fucking waiting for a war to start again. I just don't know. You know, you have some picture of BC. BC, I'm putting that in quotes, the girl who you've known in Reen. And I don't know how much of me is her. Because I don't know how much of me is that cute little girl that died in the Mandarian raids, and how much is the fucking monster that came to life sometime afterward out in the fucking wasteland. BC, do not call yourself a monster. I do not know what gifts you have, but like I said, no one is a... BC flicked her hand, and seen the Oblivion Blade arrived, emerging into existence as the absence of the world. She had it small now, about the size of a dagger clutched to her chest, not the long dueling sword it often was, but its power was no different. Around them the lights went dark and Velvet went quiet, and Wayver tried to speak again, but no matter how eagerly he opened his mouth, no sound came out. BC knelt over his lap, and soon the creer crept into his eyes. But she stayed there unmoving, feeling the air grow thin around them as the creeping Oblivion blade sucked the air from the space between them. Eventually, she realized that she had gotten too close to him, and his eyes were bulging out as he clawed for air, so she flicked her hand and backed away. Scene vanished, leaving behind a gasping Wayver and a motionless girl with black eyes and pulsing tattoos. When he had caught his breath, she leaned over and hugged him closely. I think I love you, Wayver. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. I think I love you as much as I know how to love anyone, but I'm not very good or very experienced at loving people, and I hope saying this doesn't hurt you a whole lot, and I'm really, really good at hurting people, so I wouldn't be surprised about that. But even if I hurt you, I am gonna love you as much as I know how to love by making sure that you never have to deal with me ever again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you'll never understand what I'm doing. I'm sorry you'll never understand who I really am. And I'm sorry that I wasted 3 years of your life being a shadow of a friend. I'm sorry, Wayver, for every minute of your life from now on that I ruined leaving it right now. And I fucking hope that it gets better without me. And with that, she stood, and though he protested and reached out to her, he did it with his missing arm, only realizing a moment later when she had stepped beyond his reach. He called after her, but as she strode back up the stairs, his words quickly faded back into the muted din, until once again she found herself sitting on the edge of the rooftop, watching the war continue out in the bay. She watched the fighting still fizzling out in the streets, listening as the vibrant battle raged on in a creeping, rising silence. And then slowly it faded to black and white, bleeding color. Want to know what happens next? Join us on Patreon to become a hero of Edera and get early access to episodes along with bonus features, director's commentary, and the full Tab to Archive. You can also find other ways to support us at the links in the description, and we will see you next week.